We're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourself.
So, guys, a lot of people sent me that video of Eric Prince. He's the founder of Blackwater, which is it's sort of a mercenary group, a private military group that essentially mercenaries, you hire them for security, soldiers, and all this sort of stuff. He has a background in the Navy SEALs, the American Navy SEALs. Then he set up this private military group, which the first big contracts that Blackwater got were in the Iraq War. For those people who are aware of their history, they've now been named something else, so they're not even called Blackwater anymore, and he's left. But since he left, and the reason why this is of importance to Africa and the comments that you just heard, so you should go and listen to his comments if you want context, is the fact that he's been very involved in African private security in recent years. And it was predicated on his experiences in Rwanda, which is actually what really ignited Blackwater. That was the ignition of that thing was Rwanda. And since his work in Iraq, he's now started, doing a lot of stuff economically, not even like military stuff, like economics in Africa. Now, he's trolling, by the way. So I just want you to let you know that he's trolling. Because the reason why he says something like that, he's not an idiot. He knows what the reaction is going to be. He knows how Africans are going to react. He knows how people are going to react. And he also knows that it's a dog whistle to white supremacists and people who are anti-Black, anti-Africa, and who view Africans the way he described them, because he didn't use the word children. But when you say that people are incapable of governing themselves, and we're going to put the imperial hat back on and go back in there and sort you out, it's like the parents talking to the unruly children, the imperialist mentality. Now, the crazy thing is that this is the type of guy that Western nations send in to topple African governments. This is the type of guy that Western nations send in to carry out assassinations of African leaders. This is the type of guy that does those things and creates turmoil in Africa and then turns around to gaslight Africa to tell them that they're the ones who cannot govern themselves. Do you know, this is the funny thing about it, and the reason why I say he's trolling. Does this guy not know about neocolonialism? Does he not know about the efforts that the West has made to destabilize African countries when they try to be independent? Does this man not know about the CFA franc and what France has been doing in African nations since the end of World War II? Does this man not know about the actions of the United Kingdom and the United States corporations and oil companies in the Delta region of Nigeria and what has happened to the ecosystem and the people in those countries? Does he not know? Does this man not know about the unfair trade deals between Britain and African countries and the way that debt is spun around and used in ways to suppress the community by giving aid to the leaders that they prop up, and the aid never trickles down to the people? Isn't he aware of these things? Because where does all the aid go? Because there's no oversight for it. I'll make a video about that at some point, of what aid actually means. Because it's like a catch-22. These guys will sit around talking about, look at how much aid we've given to Africa, when in reality, these are bribes to African countries. They're just bribes to allow them in the back door, to keep siphoning resources out of African countries for peanuts. That's actually what it is. And I've said this a million times. But the reason why a man like this will say this is that, listen, there is nothing he would like more than to create so much instability in Africa that his company and his interests become invaluable. Because the people that Eric Prince, go and look this up. Like I said, I'm going to make a detailed video about this. The people that Eric Prince is working for are people like the Chinese government and so forth, and all these other companies that are coming into Africa to work and build and do infrastructure and mineral extraction. And he's providing them security to make sure they can continue doing what they're doing in Africa. That's what he does. So, Mr. Prince, if you're really so adamant about uplifting Africans, how about you come and provide security for Africans? How about you come and work and help Africans, not the foreigners and expatriates who are in Africa doing mining deals and engineering and doing. How about you come and do security for us? How about you donate money? Before you even donate money, invest in Africa. You're not going to do that because it's all business. It's all about money. You got some of the biggest contracts in the Iraq war. That was a business opportunity for you. It was a business opportunity. You like war. That's your business, mate. You're a professional warmonger. That's what you do. So when you make this sort of comments, I'm like, no. Guys, don't get it twisted. All the stuff we've been doing, this is music to this guy's ears. You say that and all these Africans get upset because he thinks of us as children. He thinks of us as kids. So that's why he says that sort of stuff, because they're going to get them riled up and they're going to say stuff. This guy is a non-existent non-entity. Who gives a damn about what this man thinks? He can't insult us because he's not important. He means nothing. I don't respect him. You shouldn't respect him. How can you be insulted by a person you don't respect? Seriously. He's a nobody. He's a shooter. He's a trigger puller. That's what he is. That's what he's good at, pulling triggers. Take the gun away, he's nothing. What else have you done? Now listen, everybody needs a trigger puller. I'm not saying that you don't, but you know your place. Since when do trigger pullers pull strings? This guy was working for the US government at one point, and then he turned around trying to say that, oh, I'm embarrassed, I should never have done it. I'm really sorry. That's what he was doing. He was a contractor for the US government. Or consultant. Go and read up on this dude's history. Like I said, I'm going to make a comprehensive video. By the way, guys, make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter and the Patreon and all my links. Click the link in my bio. You'll find all this stuff. YouTube as well, because that's where I post the longer videos when I do these detailed stuff. Make sure you're across everything. Well, guys, listen, guys, don't allow yourself to be trolled. Don't let yourself be trolled. He's trolling. That guy he was talking to, look at how he was smiling. And then people are posting that everywhere. You see, this is what they're having a laugh at your expense. And I'm looking at all these Africans really getting up in arms. Can you imagine? Listen, he's been posted and reposted more by black Africans than white people. He's now become more famous amongst black Africans than amongst white people. We've given him free publicity. This video that I'm doing right now is giving this man free publicity for his businesses. He's in Africa right now. That's where he is. You see, if we were serious people, if Africans were serious and we actually had some dignity and power, we would run that guy and his company out of Africa today, tonight. He will not be able to walk in Africa. You will find out every single company and firm that guy has a contract with for security in Africa, and the governments of those countries say either you get rid of that guy's company and annul his contracts, or we are not doing business with you anymore. Period. In Nigeria, if that man's company is doing security for any Chinese company or company and you're doing it, the president said, listen, that guy's contract ends tonight, or your contract ends. That's what I would do if I was president of one of these countries. You're going to come and put that one on YouTube, and you think that tomorrow you're going to wake up and go and collect check in my country? You're mad. They craze. Something is wrong with it. It's not happening. If that was me, but it's not me. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do these things. The reason why he's doing this is that he knows that Africans aren't going to do nothing. He's going to go back tomorrow and continue collecting a check. That's why he's doing it. It's going to bring him more business because it's just getting his name out there saying, this man's bread and butter as we speak today is in Africa. He's getting contracts in Africa. That's where he's getting his cash today. And then he's saying this on top of that because he knows you, where's my camera? You, Africans out there, you are not going to do anything. When you can play with a man's money, you can affect his money, you control the guy. So I give you some advice. Instead of you whinging and whining all over internet and saying, look at what he said, I'm so upset, look at what he said, what an insult. Find out where he gets his contracts and end the contracts. Go to your government and say, listen, that man, find out the name of his company now, and say, this man must not get a contract in this country. Any company that wants to come and work here, you cannot use his company for their security, period. That's how it works.